tell you something about myself, I think, just to start getting things off. So I've run a company for a long, long time, a design company. As much as I'm very, very passionate about design and art and architecture and fashion and stuff, I think cycling defines me. I think it's about time that my worlds collided, and I think that's what this is about. I've been talking to Howie for a little while and speaking to people like Nick, who did Slow Coast, and I just thought, damn, you know, it's about time I fucking did something that I really wanted to do. You know, what he's saying, what are you trying to do by doing this event? Just trying to get people to talk to each other, you know, simple as that. And there's artwork involved and all kinds of things. One of the main reasons why we're doing this is to give money to save the children who are doing amazing stuff in Haiti. Which obviously as a father, it really cuts me to the core when I see things like that happening. What I'll do now is I'll introduce Sue to you. She's going to talk to you about Haiti quickly. Okay, so there's Sue. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you to John and to Alice for hosting this event for Save the Children. I'm enormously grateful, and the need is huge. I'm going to just talk about 3 children, Jimmy and Jacinta and Machiko. Absolutely terrified, as many children are, by what happened to all the concrete buildings that just collapsed. But now he's gone back to school. Save the Children has started its first school. It's coping with 100 children in 3 classrooms, 3 tented classrooms. But during the day, she can spend time in one of Save the Children's safe play spaces. So very quickly, we were able to bring aid by the truckload over fairly difficult terrain, but we were able to get it in there very quickly. Already, we have expanded our workforce in Haiti. We have employed 500 local health workers, teachers, nurses and doctors whose livelihoods have been destroyed by the earthquake, and our permanent staff out there say that they have seen such courage, both in the aid workers, the teachers and the nurses, working through putting homes back together as quickly as possible. Save the Children is the lead agency in reuniting children, because that's where we have a strong lead and a great deal of expertise in that. And this is what your money can buy. Money goes a long way when it gets there, so anything that you can donate will help. Thank you very much for your support.
That's it very much.
Everybody, hands in the air, right? Got bikes, everybody? Yeah. Awesome non-bike rides over there. Very bad. Very bad. My history really is from a different generation, especially to do with bikes really, because up until the age of, I was born in 1963, and up until the age of 18, there was no such thing at all as a bike that lasted longer than about 5 minutes if you rode it off-road. You'd go to the dump, you'd wait, and then there'd be a wheel that would come off a kid's bike that would be about that big, and it would be the only wheel that would be there. And then you bolt it in, and the brake would be right miles away from where the rim was. So you'd be riding it around like this, and like that. So all your bikes took on this whole unique look. And so you couldn't be proud, really, of what you had. The history of me with bikes was that I can remember as a child, like going right back to when I would have been around 2 or 3, lying on the sofa, and on TV there'd be grandstand, and they'd have bike races on there and motocross races in black and white. I remember hearing it and just being completely mesmerised by bikes. One day there was a picture of one of my favourite motocross riders, a guy called Bob Hanna, on this bike that had these little 20-inch wheels. And he was hopping over someone. It was like there was like 2 kids lying down. It was just like when people talk about like listening to the Beatles for the first time, or Elvis, or anything like that, that's what it was like to me. It's like, it's this light went on in my head, and I was just like, that is it. So the Americans came along, and you could imagine what it was like. It was like surf, skate, yellow, red, orange. The feeling, and just the ride. To me, the hop, the pop, and all this stuff just keeps going and going and going. And to see these other people on these bikes was just so. It was. I hate to use the word, but back then it was like bad. You know, it was, because we got out and there's 800 kids there on bikes, just at this track. So we kind of had this race, and that was the beginning of BMX, like for me and my bit of cycling, because what happened at that race was I'd never been I won the race, and then when I was there, a guy came up to me and asked me if I wanted to be sponsored, and they'd give me some money and a car, and you could go to California next week, and at the time I didn't do it, because I wanted to be a motocross racer. You might not be riding, but that doesn't, just because you haven't got a bike, that's why I asked, it doesn't make you not a rider. Just because you ain't got a bike, you could be a fucking rider. Look, I've got this tattoo like this. See? Rider. I'll tell you why I did that.
Good boy.
Good boy. You know the peat bog man? You know the bloke they did the peat bog? You know the biggest mystery about that? You know what he did. I want them to know what I fucking did. Like a bike for me, what it represents to me is like this continual rolling thing. The racing side of it, I did well at it, like won world championships, British championships, European championships, but all of those things, to be honest, are a bit boring. Really, a bit boring. What it does, it enables me to get to a place that it's taken me 47 years to get to, which is where I think riding is just enjoyable, and it's just fun. That's what my beautiful machine means to me. It's not a thing, my beautiful machine, it's me. It is like, if I've got me, I can ride any bike and get that feeling. I know how to do it.
Right, this is me. 3 years ago. I think Xanthi also wanted me to point out that not everybody starts life riding a bike looking like this. But a fair few women do, and I think as a British citizen we like our uniforms, and cyclists seem to have a uniform as everyone else, and that to me spelt safety, and also spelt cycling and being in the whole gang, but I knew that there must be another way, and as I started researching into it, what I actually witnessed on a day-to-day basis was that there were, 3 years ago in London, barely any other women on the road. And it wouldn't be very often that you saw one that actually looked stylish or was just wearing their ordinary clothes to ride a bike in. At the time, 3 years ago, sports fashion, it was a very exciting time, kicked off by Yohji Yamamoto, Y3 range for Adidas. And I think this is where it all went a little bit wrong. I've got nothing against Lycra. Lycra has its place. If I'm going out for a long weekend ride on my road bike, I will wear Lycra. And it is that whole uniform thing, and it does really put a lot of women off riding a bike. A lot of modern day fashion that works on bicycles, I think, still takes its inspiration from Victorian time. How I first kind of formed Psychedelic and got the idea together was in my second year of university. I was doing a project for Puma where we had to pick a sport and design something for it, and it was just coincided with the time where I started riding a bike. From Preterule, I had a really lucky break. I was asked by Hackney Council to put on Wheels and Heels, which was a pure cycle fashion show. I came in and gave a talk about what to wear, and although they were lured in by fashion, it wasn't a fashion fad. These girls stuck it out. They all did their level 3 bike ability. If any of you don't know about that, that's kind of the highest level of cycle training you can do. That's all. Thanks very much.